Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
What's up, friends? Welcome back to the TV Terminal. My name is Adam Vale, Senior Editor over at the Koalition.com.
My name is Lawrence, aka A Punk with Toys on all the socials.
And we are back, and this is the finale, people. This is not an 8-episode season. This is a 7, and it's a mini-series, so it's a one and done, and that's it. And here we go. This is episode 7. All good things. That's it. I was expecting like all good things that come to an end, and that's this show. It was good. It was good. It was a lot of action.
Sad. It's a very sad episode, but what I like about it is
you cried a little bit. I saw you cry. I saw you tear up, and he's like, "I gotta get off camera."
It's you don't get the happy ending that you normally get with a TV series that when it ends.
So you don't think this was a happy ending? I mean, she survived, right? I mean, we could just
but that's not what she wanted.
Yeah, I guess she wanted her dad.
And again, it's what she thought was going to happen.
Yeah,
she hoped that it wouldn't.
But hey, he can't change. That's what it proved there.
And I think that if he hadn't done what he did, they keep the money.
That's a good theory. So real quick, thank you all for liking the hypes and the subs and the follows and just hanging with us. You know, this definitely flew under a lot of people's radar with this show. Every time I bring it up and stuff, people are like, "What's that?" And I get it. It wasn't
Apple TV. I'm sorry, I don't know who has Apple
TV. There. I do know a lot of people with sci-fi. Now, when it comes to this, I mean, there's other big shows currently happening on Apple. We got Silo that's back. We got Ted Lasso is killing it. They said they had their highest numbers ever.
Like the only one I know.
Yeah, that's all. We're also covering that on the channel. But this one, it was crickets whenever I told people, and they're like, "Should I watch?" I'm like, "Damn right you should. It's fun. It's a fun watch." You know, so let's just get into it.
It's well written. There are twists in it that you don't just see happening, and it's just well written. It's 7 episodes. So again, if you're watching this thing, like, what is this lucky? If you're watching this come November, December, January, and you're like, it's Saturday, Sunday, you can turn this on. You're going to get a beginning, middle, and it's done. Hopefully you don't have to worry about a second season. And I'll kind of discuss where I think a second season could be done if they wanted to.
Okay. All right. So let's just get into it, because there's a bunch of things that happen here and there, and you guys already watched it. There was all those flashbacks, and there's no reason to bring it up until the very end. But throughout this episode, we're seeing flashbacks where
always the one flashback
of Lucky at a pool. Right. We eventually find out what happens at the pool, and this all links up again early on in the season where she was in the water and she's getting this drowning feeling. So throughout the entire series, it's all connected to this flashback, and then we see that the outcome, which is horrific. It's really sad. But they're en route. She's with Rand to the meet location, which looks like it belongs in Landman. I was waiting for Tommy to come out. What are you doing on my oil rig site? You know, but it makes sense, I guess.
Yeah. Well, Rand is just basically saying, "Hey, you know what? Keep to the script, and this will be over." Right? Like,
yeah. Well, keep to the script, and the script is she's wired, and they just need easier said than done, as we've seen in so many of these shows. When someone's wired, just have the person confess. And we need them to say certain things. And remember, the key word is genius. That's your key safe word. Once you say that, then you're good to go. And one of the other things that we see is Peter's here. And I said it before, and I have some people in the comments. They were like, "Yeah, you know what? You're right, Peter." And it only makes sense. He's the only other person that's connected to all this that we've seen that's not directly connected. He's always just there. And this is the only other person. If they can't have a rando show up, then that's not fair, because no one would have put that piece together. Like playing a game of Clue. You know, you have to add somebody that's within the game board. You can't say the neighbor showed up and did it. So it makes sense. But we're getting a lot of fast cuts where we see Rand and Lucky show up with Peter talking and the whole thing. You were wired. There's some other people.
I did think that it was weird that when she does say genius, that Leaping Lanny Poffo came out doing back handsprings and throwing frisbees out, and then he read a poem, which was really odd.
I think it would have been even better if they said, "Why genius?" And then he whips out a frisbee. Well, I got this at an indie house show. Russell, right?
My dad once took me to a WWF house show, and the genius threw this out.
Yeah, for those of you who know, then you know, but that was Macho Man's brother, Leaping Lanny Puffo, like to do poems. It's a fantastic. R.I.P. He was a great character. But yeah, so they're getting set. Now, what is that cylinder that they were on? That Peter and
water tower.
That was a water tower? I'd say there you go. That's just what I know. But that's right. Water tower makes sense.
Don't you remember Jeremy Ray ollied from water tower to water tower?
Super dangerous. Super dangerous. I also remember some people dying on the water tower in Landman. Again, right? Wasn't that it? The guy was on the top and then the gas and all that stuff. If you haven't watched Landman, watch that. That's another one. We covered that also on the show. Really good show. But so they decided they're going to take points there, and at the same time we saw Priscilla. She was hanging out with Dutch at her house. She tells Dutch, stand back. That's it. Just don't you're not invited to this.
You weren't invited, so you cannot come. And Wayne, as we know, he is a control freak, and that's how he's gotten to where he's at. Yeah,
control freak. And he shows up and he was like, all right, come on, let's go. We're going to the site. Dirk stays back. They're in the car. They're just going back and forth. Key information in the car ride is he sort of explains his reason for not being a father to Carrie. And it's a bad reason. It's a horrible reason.
It is. He almost apologizes for her losing Carrie. Like, I mean, that was his way of apologizing. I saw it, but it wasn't a real apology. No. You know, he says, you know, that's why I never had kids. And she said, you had a son.
Yeah. He was like, well, my dad wasn't good with me and wasn't close, so I just passed it on. And if you take a step back, you have to think, it's like, how old was Carrie? He had to be 30, right? In his 30s?
No.
You think he was younger?
Holy crap, he's supposed to be in his early 20s.
All right. They fooled me because I did not see that. At least 26, 27. Same thing when we looked up Lucky, the actress. I think she's also within the later part of the 20s. Okay, but either way.
But I think they're supposed to be in their early 20s.
Still, that's a long time to just not be a part of this kid's life. And we find out later in the episode, he always knew. Carrie knew that was his dad. That's the worst part.
Yeah, I mean, considering you know that your mom still works for him.
Yeah.
You obviously have been around him, but he doesn't acknowledge that he's your father.
Oh, man, I mean, I really...
I never had to deal with this, but I feel like there's no way to not feel like you are completely rejected.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the thing. I didn't know that. We find this out later on, but I thought she kept it as a secret because it was a secret for us, the viewers, for a while until it was revealed that he was a father. So I figured she kept this as a secret because, man, think about it. At that age, especially if you know your mom is still working with the guy, just confront him. I was like, you're my dad. Why are you treating me like shit? You know, what's going on here?
But if his mom is like, you cannot approach him on this, he will kill you. Right?
Yeah. I guess. But then it also makes sense with a lot of the other things. I'm surprised Carrie didn't steal this money before. I mean, it wasn't his money originally to steal. It was John that did the stealing and this whole thing. But I would think if anyone has a motive, it would definitely be Carrie. Pissed off at his old man, who's like, hey, you know what? You don't care about me. You don't want to recognize me. Then I'm just going to take what I can from you and go. But either way, they're at the meat site. They show up. This is the first time that Wayne Whitaker and Lucky ever meet, right? They have a little back and forth, and I had to get this. This is good audio.
From what I hear, you're a very smart girl. If things had gone differently, you could have been working for me.
No, thanks. I know how you treat the women who work for you.
Damn, take it. And she looked right at Priscilla when she said that line. I was waiting for Priscilla to nod her head like, yeah.
I wrote down here, like, as Lucky is feeling like she has the upper hand. Now, I think this is the first time we see Lucky doesn't have the upper hand, when they bring John out. She has, he's always taught her, as long as you have the upper hand, as long as you are leading, then you have the upper hand. And she's clearly trying to turn Priscilla against Wayne. She knows that that's her only chance of getting out of here alive. That more likely he's not going to let her and her father go.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. I didn't think that she was doing that.
Go back and watch
wake
it.
up Priscilla.
The whole time I heard, she's looking at Priscilla, the things that she is saying. To me, it was totally like,
because I don't think she knew what was gonna come to pass with the whole now you have to kill. I didn't think it was ever gonna get there. I don't even think she thought it, because remember the plan.
No, but that was her way. But that was her way out. I think she knew that was gonna, because remember, she had already figured out that Kershaw was in his back pocket.
Yeah. Well, that comes up now. In fact, they're going back and forth, and it's like, you know what? I know all the stuff that just like with the crypto, because when she goes to hand over the money, we see that it's with the pad there, and it's like it's all crypto. Priscilla was shocked. What the hell? It's like, yeah, you're shocked, but Wayne over here isn't shocked. He knows all this because he's got a mole in the FBI, and it's Peter. And then once they hear this, that's when Rand reacts real quick, points the gun at Peter. I was like, oh, that's cool that she reacted that way, instead of just saying, is this for real? You know what I mean? Like the shock moment. There was no shock moment. She instantly reacted. So now they might as well have done this like in a comic book form, right? Where you just see left Rand and Peter, and then right with Wayne and Lucky and everybody, because they're both dealing with the same situation of what's going on here. And the crypto, and it was like, all right, do you have the seed phrase? Like, yeah, and this is how I'm going to get out of here, which is why I wasn't sure what you said with Priscilla, because she said, this is the plan. I will give you the seed phrase once I leave. I'm going to text you, and that's how I know I'm safe, because if I give it to you now, there's no guarantee for me. And
but I still feel like she was trying to make sure she turned him against. Like, hey, this is the reason why there's a split with you and your son. This is the guy. He's treated you this way. You worship this guy. And remember, John had told Lucky before, Priscilla changes around him.
Yeah, that is
true.
Can't
explain it. She's completely different.
She gets soft. Everybody knows that. There's some people that get weak in the knees around certain people. It's more common with celebrities, though. You hear it all the time. But she definitely has a soft spot for him. And we know it because look what happened before, a few episodes back, when he pretty much threatening to kill her. I'm surprised she even tolerated any of this stuff. But hey, whatever. But Wayne was like, you know what? You don't hold all the cards. And he tells one of his guys to open up the car, takes out a beat up John. So there we go. Now, if we were trying to figure out who killed Gates, R.I.P. Gates, it's Wayne's guy. So it wasn't Peter, but it was Wayne's guy.
Yeah.
Right. So
we were on the right path.
Yeah.
But we were wrong with the person that did it. But it's all because of what he had said, right? He was the one that led them there, because there was no way for anyone to know. Kershaw was the only other one that knew.
Yeah. There was no other way. So then while that's happening, we see Rand and Peter, and they're having a whole fight scene on top of this water tower. They're fighting back and forth. They're kicking, and it was getting pretty messy. I wasn't sure.
I have an issue with this, and that is because Kershaw is not... He's an older guy, but he's in really good shape. Rand is not.
He was wheezing. I don't know if he was in good shape, because remember when they were both laying on their backs.
I'm saying when you look at this guy looks like he's in pretty good shape.
All right, maybe.
And this fight scene, and let's talk about the whole fight scene rather than jumping back and forth.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, he goes, take me in, and then he disarms her. They fight.
Oh, we got the audio. Here we go.
I just wrote my own ticket. Why? Because doing this job is like pissing into the wind. We are set up to fail on a daily basis.
Isn't why most corruption happens, right? People just give in because there's just too much money.
And I like this because, she's like, when did he get to you? She's like, he didn't. I went to him. Like, it wasn't like This guy has the money, and we are failing. And you've heard a lot of people say this. There's movies that are based after this, right? I'm not saying like documentaries, but there's movies based how they build it, right? It's like we're failing. So why even bother? I can be lucrative here. I might as well live a decent life. But they get in this fight, and I'm sorry. I feel like Kershaw should have been able to beat up Rand. But this is where I have a huge problem. He kicks Rand off. She falls down. Now, again, they're on top of this water tower that if you fall off it, you're going to die. And we see this at the end. And this is what made the water tower gap for Jeremy Ray when he ollied it so dangerous. And go back and watch the documentary. Now I'm talking about skateboarding. So just
watch it on YouTube, people. It's pretty amazing.
He said when he called the photographer, the guy said, "Is there a chance of you dying?" And he said, "Of course. Actually, in this one, there is." But anyway, they're like 20 feet up in the air. So you can survive a 20-foot drop, but it depends on how you land. But anyway, Rand falls and she's holding on to this pipe. And Kershaw is wincing, but he's on top. She pulls herself up. She has to climb back up. Now, I'm sorry. This is not a CrossFit woman, all right? She is heavy set. She's
wearing Kevlar.
The Kevlar.
It's a lot.
She's able to climb up, get back up. Rand sees it and get to the gun before Rand. And I'm sorry, I'm calling total BS. Also, when she shoots him, and I've heard people say, hey, when you get shot in a bulletproof vest, it does hurt, but it doesn't kill you. She shoots him like 3 times in the vest. Doesn't aim for the head, which you're not supposed to.
Yeah,
but
it's a small target.
He had to fall back off of it. This was the most unbelievable fight that I've seen in many shows.
All right. Well, hey, people, what do you think?
And again, I could buy that. Hey, she won the fight. Okay, I could buy that she won the fight. Hey, maybe she knows how to do. She knows martial arts. Maybe she was trained better. I don't think she was by the looks of it. The fact that she was able to pull herself back up, I can tell you right now, at age 50, and I feel like I'm in decent shape, I'm not pulling myself back up. Now, first off, my shoulder ain't allowing me to pull up anything, but I'm not pulling myself up and getting to the gun before the guy that's just laying there right next to it.
Yeah, I would have done a different way here. I would have gone away. Let's say the gun, she has another one, a sidearm or something strapped on her. Yeah. She's hanging on the pole. He's walking over, whether to just grab the gun or just stomp on her one hand, and she last minute points it up, shoots him, and then that causes him to fall over. Then I would have accepted that. And then she crawls back up. It's like, oh man, I can't believe I got out. Because it's
that would have been more believable.
Yeah, would have been more believable.
But again, I've watched Reacher swim across an ocean and back and dry off. So.
Completely dry, not wincing, not wheezing. He is Jack, though. So maybe that's it. He
now, even get this is Reacher. Okay, this guy is huge, but Rand is
a monster. He's a monster.
Probably shorter than I am.
And even if you don't want to go with all that, we have to remember she just came out of the hospital. Okay, she had the concussion. She had other things she was supposed to. I didn't even know that. She was injured. She had all those other things. So it's a lot of other variables. But either way, what we're getting at is a little underwhelming. We didn't like this fight scene so much.
Yeah, and again, that's my gripe with the water tower. This takes place during the whole thing, so we're not going to go back to the water tower.
That's it. We're done
until I have my other complaints about where everyone was. Well, remember this. The SWAT was 1 mile out. That's not very far.
Yes, and we hear them because
you're right. End. But anyway,
we're getting there. We're getting there now, right? So while this is happening, Wayne is reacting to this whole new thing with the crypto. He's upset. He says, you don't hold all the cards. They bring out John. He's all beat up, and they were like, just give us the code, the phrase. That's it, and then we're done. Dad is like, don't do it. He's getting a beating still.
Oh. And but Kershaw not Kershaw. I'm sorry. Wayne is like, hey, I kind of feel bad for you. You're like, you're not supposed to be in this. This is your dad. This is John. Like,
at first, yeah.
But it's how she keeps attacking him. That he's getting more and more pissed, which you kind of understand.
Yeah. And it's the whole mind games. Now I think this was the turning point that triggered with Priscilla. because the fact that
Yes.
he had the mole, which was Peter, but clearly it never helped her while she was in jail to get her out of her whole thing. He already knew about what happened with Carrie. He already knew about the crypto because of Peter and didn't share any of this information with Priscilla. So now she feels like, wow, he's double crossing me, even though I'm trying to help him out with all this stuff. He was just playing games. But then Wayne decides to switch things up. He says, you know what? I'm done with this. John, you can suffer from this. We're going to put down Lucky right now. In fact, now I'm not even going to get my hand dirty.
But why is that? And this goes back to what you kept saying. He says, you know what? I don't even care about the money. He has so much money. He's like, you kept saying, who cares? It's $10 million if you're that rich. And he kept saying, hey, it's the principle. And finally, he's like, you know what? Forget it. I don't even care about the money. It doesn't matter. You're now going to watch your daughter die.
He's just a bad guy. Overall, bad guy. I mean,
not a good guy at all.
I mean, they threw in. Some people say it's low hanging fruit whenever you hear someone say that they're mean to their kids because no one wants to hear that. But now they throw this on top that he's willing to kill this other guy's kid just for the hell of it because the principal, whatever. It's like no one else cares. I mean, no one else knows.
He's a true sociopath. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't
care. And well, you know what? He does think that he is in full control because he hands the gun over to Priscilla and says, "You do it. You get your hands dirty."
Yep.
She puts the gun to
your fault.
Yeah, your fault. You do it. And he really felt that there was no way she was double crossing, meaning Priscilla. And she looks at it, and then at first I thought Lucky was going to say, "What would Carrie want?" I thought she was going to say because she said Priscilla.
I think that again, she didn't say that, but she put enough things in her head, like, "Hey, you lost your son because of this guy." And clearly, like when she cried and when she had the tears, like she knew this now what Carrie wanted. And say what you want, Priscilla absolutely loved her son. Like that is one thing that is completely stated. Like she loved her son.
Yeah, she loved him. So right at the good thing, it's not a soft trigger because we see her squeeze a little bit, and sometimes it's a soft trigger. But she instantly turns it. Boom! She shoots Wayne. He drops. Now there's a shootout. We hear all the shootout because Dutch is there in the background, and he's shooting. Was there another FBI agent that got shot? I could have swore there was someone else. It was just the goons. It was just Dutch shooting.
Yeah, there was a couple guys.
Those are okay.
Yep, and then Dutch went after the one guy.
Yep. Oh, we'll just get to that part. Goes after this guy, and he drowns him in oil. Oh, crude oil. Ooh, just.
I don't know if I've seen shows where someone drowns in oil. The way and again, it's like he's holding his head down in it, but because of the consistency of it and being thicker, it was very dramatic.
Yeah, you hear the bubbling. So, it was brutal way to die. Yeah, so he deals with that, and then we see Priscilla. She just closes in on Wayne, shoots him again, and then calls him a little bug and says, "This could have all been different if you were just a father to my son."
Well, she said just once. He didn't even say like it had.
Just one. Buy him an ice cream cone. Take him to McDonald's. Tell him he did great on a spelling bee. Really, that's it. One of those. One simple thing. This is why I find I have an issue with this because he's almost 30. Let's just round. Let's say 26. You're gonna tell me this whole time. Carrie knew that was his dad. They know each other are, connecting with, and he just brushes him off. That's hard to swallow. That's especially if I can understand if you're not near the guy. Let's say he didn't work Priscilla, and Priscilla lived in like Arizona or somewhere else and never saw the kid. They were in close proximity. They had communications constantly. That must. I can't.
We don't know. I mean, we don't know that Carrie never approached him or Carrie didn't talk to him and he said, "Hey, I don't want kids. This is your mom."
Yeah.
This is your mom's decision. Boom, end of story.
That's but he's dead. He's dead. She puts him down.
All right.
Game over for a win.
This was interesting, and I like this. So she ends up shooting him in the head. The thing that I liked about it is every time you see someone get shot in the head, it's right through the forehead, it's through the temple. He gets shot right here. Now, again, I'm not saying it shouldn't have killed him, but it was an interesting interesting from the director, the producers, whoever came up with it. Like, we're not going to do the trope of right through the middle of the head. He gets shot through the cheekbone, which again, maybe it wouldn't kill you, but more than likely it would. And I think we like that aspect.
And I think we should have seen this because I think they were foreshadowing that. Remember when she was out shooting and Dutch came out and gave the gun, and she was a pretty good shot.
Yeah.
She was taking some shots out there in the dark. So I think they were sort of like hinting like, hey, we are going to see her in action.
And that was after Carrie's death.
Yeah. After Carrie's death. So that happened. Then we see that Lucky and her dad trying to find a way out, and they bump into Dutch. And then we get an interesting conversation here where Priscilla, and she pretty much says, you know what, you can leave. You're right. I don't care anymore. You can leave. In fact, take the money. Carrie would have wanted you to have it anyway.
So this was interesting because she's like, what am I going to do? And Lucky's just like, you could just let us go. And you're almost like, yeah, okay. How are they going to get out of this? And then he just say, she says that's what Carrie would want or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's not, there's not a back and forth. Priscilla just says, go. She's done. She goes, take the car and go. And then you see Dutch pull the keys out and give it to her. Mm-hmm. And, she says something about the money. And that's when she says, Carrie would have wanted you to have it.
Mm-hmm. And then we get that drone shot of them driving off. Now, and technically you could have ended. They could have ended this episode just like that. Roll the credits. Yeah. And I think people would have been cool with it. It's like, all right, she has the money. She has her dad. She's on the road, no longer running from Wayne. He's dead. Priscilla doesn't care. Rand found the mole. Wayne, who she was after, is dead. Case closed, right? Because that's another thing we see real quick. We see Rand walk down after the whole thing already took effect, and then sees a dead body. And then, of course, the FBI show up. We have to assume, like, what was it? You said they were maybe a mile out.
They said SWAT is a mile out. It's not a mile by foot. That means they have their vehicles. How long does it take someone to get a mile, especially when you have sirens going and you don't have to follow the speed limit?
If this was and we always bring back 24 because they put a damn clock on every episode. Okay, so it made it easy for us to follow this. But yeah, the timing doesn't add up with how everything took place unless it was quick. Maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes. That all this happened.
If you're going 60 miles an hour, that means you make it 1 mile in 1 minute. They would be going faster than 60. They were waiting. That's why I have an issue, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it's one of those. We brought this up in Marshall's also. Remember when they were at the barn? It was like not too far from the ship. It's like you could see them, they could see you. How come it takes so long to get you? Whatever. But anyway,
why are you using binoculars? I mean,
exactly.
You're looking down on them like, hey, look, this right
oh boy, oh man, that's another good show coming back in October. We'll be covering that. So now it looks like it's done. Right now we're thinking, all right, this is going to be the happy ending.
Well, wait a minute. So we see Rand show up, and then we have the police out, and she sees the dead bodies. Now somehow Priscilla and Dutch got away.
They just drove off in their car. It took Rand a long time to climb down from the water tower. I would think she saw the whole shooting and all this stuff. Right?
I take that back. I guess it may. Okay, so wait. Okay, I got a couple questions here. So they say take the car.
Yeah.
Dutch gives her the keys, but Dutch didn't have the keys to the car. Dutch came in his own vehicle. So that's how they got home. But why did Dutch have the keys? He shouldn't have. Unless the guy he killed,
he picked his pocket and took his keys. Yeah. All right, that's it. He took the keys. You're right. That wasn't his vehicle. Yeah, he's a pickpocket also.
But where are the police? Where's the FBI SWAT? Where are they at? They should have been there.
Yeah, they should have been there, but they weren't. And now we see this scene with Lucky and John, and she's fixing him up. And then they start talking about like her hair and how he didn't know how to comb it. But then he had this dream, and I was trying to figure out what's the point of talking about this dream about her being a baby with sheets while he was in prison. And then we see why, because he leads into, it's like, well, that's my reoccurring dream when I was in jail, that they were going to let me out because I'm walking around with this little baby, which is the sheets. Do you have a reoccurring dream? Yeah, it's a damn nightmare, and she doesn't say it, but we get the glimpses of her like falling in water and all thing. And she says it was drowning. And he says, oh, that's just a metaphor. That's just about time and what you want to do with your time. And he doesn't even think about the fact that this was when he almost drowned her. And I think that was a trigger for her. Like, he could have come clean here and said, I'm sorry about that. That was wrong on my part for pushing you into the deep side of the pool.
And that's when we really see, like, he can't. Remember, we go back to a couple episodes ago where he was like, don't tell me you didn't have a good time. I saw that you had a good time. And she's like, I was supposed to be with friends.
Yeah.
He
sees what he wants to see. I mean, isn't that the way it is with almost everything in the world, right? We see things in certain ways with our own views on things, and someone says, no, it's completely different. It's like, oh, whatever. Well, he definitely lives in a bubble, so they go out to have a meal. While they're doing that, we'll just jump over this real quick, because we see that Priscilla, we could be wrong, put it in the comments. It looked like she's claiming Wayne's house. This looks like Wayne's house, not the ranch where she was hanging out. But either way,
we don't ever see the back door. We don't ever see the back of the ranch. We know that she knows where the ranch is. Remember, she already went there.
Yeah. Well, we did see the back. Wasn't she shooting at the ranch? Remember that time in the back?
Well, there's other aspects of it, but we know that Rand knows where that is because she was there.
Yep, shows up.
And once again, look, if you look in the back, you can see Sylvester Stallone walking by.
Yep. That's, he lives on the property.
That's how we know. That's how we know it's the ranch.
The ranch, yep. And then we find out it's all really in Oklahoma.
From Tulsa King.
Yeah, Tulsa King. Yeah. So Rand shows up and confronts her, and Priscilla's like, stop already. Just stop. Look, think about it. You got the mole, Peter. He's wiped off the board. Wayne is dead. That's who he really wanted. This whole thing was to get Wayne, really. But she's like, no, it's you. I want you. Like,
you got a dirty FBI agent. You got Wayne. But this was really good because this goes back to my not like there's not a real happy ending. Rand is almost in tears.
Yeah,
she's like, I'm gonna get you, and she's just like, let it go. Like, you got Wayne. That's who you really wanted. You got a crooked FBI agent.
And she blames her. She was like, you killed my partner. I was like, no, you're crooked Peter over there. FBI guy, he killed Peter. He's one, because he was informing. He was telling Wayne everything. So he told his goons where.
And Priscilla didn't know. Like, she had no idea that that's what he went and did.
Yeah. So that I didn't buy this. I get they want to have that whole vendetta thing, but no, this wasn't needed. This wasn't needed.
But this goes back to the stop chasing your white whale. You can see she is obsessed. And even here, after she's gotten Wayne, now she's just like, but I didn't get you, even though you were, sat in prison.
Just let it go. But anyway, then we jump back to Lucky and the dad, and she's about to go to sleep. And this is when he was talking about the tangles of hair. But one of the things, when they had a meal and talking about pickles and stuff, she said that she doesn't want the money. She says, I don't want the money. I don't want anything to do with it. And he's like, how did you find out about the phrase code? And he was like, oh, and takes out the Teddy Ruxpin, squeezes it. We hear it. Right. And I think this was another test that she gave her dad.
Oh, totally.
All of this, right? Totally. Right. It was a test, because she could have BS and said, oh, just like she told everybody else, it was in her head. She didn't tell Wayne that was in the damn teddy bear. She said it was in her head. So she could have just said, oh, he told me it before he died. You know what I mean? She didn't have to say anything about a bear, but this was the test. Oh, and she played it for him, and he's like, oh, wow.
Not the whole thing, though.
Not the whole thing.
She does stop.
Yep, she does stop. And that's it. But anyway, they're back at the room. Next day, she wakes up. John is gone. The car is gone. Teddy Ruxpin also gone. He's on a road trip with John there. And this is where we get this flashback, finally completing that vision that she kept having. And we see that she was on the deep side of the pool, didn't know how to swim, right? She jumps in and she just sinks to the bottom and she's drowning. Eventually, John rescues her, brings her out, starts complaining to the manager who's there that somebody pushed her and the whole thing. And this was all con so he can get the rooms comped. This is he always worked for an angle, and now it's her thing. And she was hoping he would change, but he didn't.
And it's sad.
It is very sad. And we hear this, but John hears this. How long is that tape? Usually it was only a few seconds that you could tape something. I don't know.
There might be a little bit of
a little bit. You know what? There's probably a newer version. I know that my kids had some VTEX and stuff, and they had some new stuff. But anyway, because while he's driving, he presses it and he hears this, and she re-recorded over the phrase code and says all this. Like, hey, you ruined it. You couldn't change. You always had an angle. This is your angle, and I said it. So you know what? No money for you. I'm just offering you freedom. That's it. Live a new life.
And that's what she did. She bought his freedom by sending this in. Now there's no reason for them to change. And he's just kind of laughing. Like, he knows he's been duped. He gave up his relationship. And I don't believe in this in the show that not for 1 second do I feel like John doesn't love his daughter. But he's been running scams his whole life, and the fact that he would take this to get $10 million, then what was he going to do? Look her up later on?
Yeah. The one messed up part, and some people may argue, like, well, she said she didn't want the money, so what if he takes it? Is at least leave the car. You know, he just left her stranded in this motel. It's like, just leave the car, take the money, and then go get a bus ticket or something like that.
He could have taken the money, but by handing it into the feds, they're no longer going to be searching for him.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. They're no longer searching for him. So she bought his freedom. As I said, if she wakes up that next day and John is just sitting right there, or we see John, and I think, I can't speak for you. I was waiting for John to come walking back in, like, hey, I ran across the street. I got some coffee. I got a McDonald's #1. Awesome,
exactly.
amazing.
I'm gonna be the dad you deserve. I'm gonna be the dad. Well, let's start a new life. Let's do that.
But
no, I didn't see that.
This is what she was scared of.
Yeah, she was scared of it. We get a quick glance at Rand in the office. She gets a package, and it is a computer with the code and all that stuff. So there you go. Now all the money is in her, or whatever's left, of the money. Because do you think she took some? She said there was some that Carrie already spent, as we know, to rent that beach house front. But I would hope that she took some money to get her on.
She said expenses. She meant funeral expenses.
Oh yeah. Oh well.
Cremation. But okay. And I mentioned this before, and they don't really get into this, and it could have been too convoluted and take too much time. If you put something in Bitcoin, especially something that much, Bitcoin goes up and down. So you could have lost $1 million, or you could have gained $1 million that quickly. I'm not following crypto these days, so I don't know. Actually, it's lower than ever, I believe.
Yeah.
But let's say it went up. And especially with Bitcoin, it's such a big number. Well, it could have easily been a 500,000. That's not what they were looking for.
Yeah. And well, it's done. That part is done, and we see that Lucky makes it to where she wanted to go. Remember, she wanted to go to the beach. She wanted to be free, and we see her there. She's at the beach. They're playing a remake of Phil Collins, and I was like, oh, what the hell, And it was over. That's it. She's free. And roll the credits. So this was good, right? I enjoyed it. We enjoyed it. We liked watching. A lot of action.
I thought it was a really good series. And I said that earlier. It's action-packed for the most part. It keeps you thinking. There's no happy ending. Like, she's lost her boyfriend or her husband. I'm sorry.
Yep, she lost her husband.
Her fear that her dad cared more about the money than her comes to fruition.
Yeah.
Rand, she loses her, her partner.
She loses Gates. Yeah.
So.
But you got the mole. I'm sure she'll get his job. Remember, because he was the bigger boss. So now she'll get promoted up. Now, before we end out, you did say you could see a possible season 2. How? Okay. Like, where did you?
So I could see you continuing the series, but without Lucky. And what I mean by that is when it gets brought up, stop chasing this white whale. You could do a continuation of we just remove Lucky out of it, call it whatever, call it Rand, and this is where she is still trying to bring down
I
Priscilla.
don't think she's that strong of a character to carry. I mean, look at the poster. It's just Lucky. It's
I'm
like,
just saying
all right.
it's possible. I didn't say they're going to. I'm just saying, like, if the numbers are strong and they're like, well, I think we can do this. I agree. I don't think Rand or the actress that plays Rand, she's not strong enough to carry it. But
Yeah.
I think we all would agree Annette Bening is.
Yeah. She can definitely pull it off, but I think her story was told. That's it.
I agree. But you saw how she acted at the end. The white whale was brought up earlier. I could see that if numbers are good and they're like, hey, are you willing to do this? And you take Lucky out of it, you call it something different. Kind of like how Unbreakable had a sequel. But no one realized.
Yeah, there's plenty of shows. There's also plenty of shows. There was Gangs of London was a really good show, and they actually brought people back from the dead because they needed to keep going because people just wanted to see more of it. But either way, it was good. So what did you guys think? Put in the comments. Did you enjoy it? I know we saw people going back and forth. They liked certain characters. They liked some elements of it. They weren't too crazy about other parts. But what did you guys think? It was a fun watch. I think it was, right? It's pretty short. There we go.
I have no issues. You're done. It's 7 episodes. It's not 7 hours long. Probably around 6.5 hours long. Yeah. And again, if it's winter, I don't have a problem binging.
Yeah, it's definitely a big show. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging with us through this entire series over with Reacher, which is great. We love Reacher. It's a fantastic one. We also got Moblin that's coming up for season 2, and that's in September. And we got some other stuff, and we talked about Marshals and stuff. So we got a lot of stuff going on the channel. So we will see you later in the other ones. And thanks again for hanging out with us. Like, subscribe, share. All right, peace.
Take care.